Morning. Wet here in Oregon. So week 14, best games of the week. We have Packers and Lions. I'm going to say was the best game, one of the best games of the year. But Jets and Dolphins was right behind it. It was a good game with the Dolphins desperately trying to stay in the race and the Jets just trying to do anything. Panthers and Eagles was a good game. The Panthers looking a lot better, and the Eagles trying to hold on to that win streak they got going. And Jaguars-Titans, despite both teams being out of it, looked like they were trying to just get a win over their hated rival, and it was a close matchup. The decent games, we have Bills-Rams. It was good, but only if you like offense. It was very high scoring. No defense. The defenses just took a day off. Chargers and Chiefs was a decent game, but I think we all feel a little saddened that the Chiefs once again win it. And Bengals Cowboys ended up being a decent. Was that Sunday night or Monday night? I'm getting my days mixed up, but it was a good game. The bad games, we got Falcons Vikings. It was good in the first half, but then the Vikings just kind of took over. Kirk Cousins threw too many interceptions. Raiders Buccaneers, good in the first half, but the Buccaneers broke away. And Browns Steelers also was good for the first half, and then the second half the Steelers just couldn't. The Browns couldn't keep up with them. The worst games of the week, though, we got Seahawks and Cardinals. The Seahawks looked very dominant, and despite being in that arena, they still got the win. Bears and 49ers was not as close as I thought it would be. And Giants and Saints was the worst game, hopefully, of the year. It'll probably be remembered for being, if you like a bad game, then definitely watch that one. Power rankings, I'm going to keep the Bills at number 1 and the Packers at number 2. Despite both teams losing, I think these are the top 2 teams right now. I got the Broncos 3rd, swapping with the Packers. They're also very good. They were just on a bye. Keeping the Colts at 4, but I'm adding the Vikings at 5. They actually got a good win here against the Falcons, and they're actually looking like they deserve their record. 6, still the Commanders. They're on a bye. Can't drop them too low. 7, the Steelers. Good win. 8, I got the Buccaneers, looking like they're going to begin their win streak here to make the playoffs. And number 9, I got the 49ers. If they play like they did against Chicago, then they'll definitely make the playoffs, but they got a lot of ground to make up for. And now that they've lost Isaac Guerendo and CMC, their run game is definitely going to hurt. At least Jordan Mason looks like he's doing a good job. Number 10, I got the Seahawks in charge of the division and deserving to be in the top 10. 11, I got the Lions. Now, I know that seems low, that I would not fight if you wanted to say they were the best team. The only reason I have them out of the top 10 is because I'm really worried about that defense, and I'm worried that they're about to have a few losses down the stretch. Number 12, I got the Rams, a good performance. I think this upcoming game between the Rams and Niners will be a very good one to watch. 13, the Eagles, dropping it just because of how close it was with the Panthers. To be fair, the Panthers are looking a lot better than their record shows, but a team that has that kind of win streak should not be looking quite that rough. 14, the Dolphins. They're looking like a dangerous team that are desperately trying to make the postseason. 15, the Bengals, and 16, the Cowboys. Keeping you guys close together. Bengals on top just because they got the win. But like the Dolphins, they're 2 teams that probably aren't going to make it, but they're looking dangerous and wanting to get in. 17, the Ravens, and 18, the Texans. You guys are on a bye, and you haven't been looking too good lately, so maybe this week you'll be able to show that you deserve the postseason. 19, the Chiefs. I know you got the wins, but every win is just like a thing of magic. People are now saying that the Chiefs made a deal with the devil to get these wins. 20, the Chargers, right there with the Chiefs. It was a close game. If that kick had doinked the other way, you would have won, and I think you'd be in talks to actually win the division if the Chiefs hadn't won so many weird game-ending fashions. 21, the Saints. I think they're still a dangerous team that is desperate for a postseason run, but I think Derek Carr got injured, so I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to hold on. 22, the Cardinals, definitely fallen a bit. I thought you guys were going to win the division, and these last couple of weeks have looked really rough. And they're now looking like they're going from the first place team in their division to the last with how close that division is. 23, I got the Jets. I'd say the Jets are the best of the 3-win teams. Rodgers actually had a good game against the Dolphins. Looks like the best game he's had in years. 24, the Panthers, looking like a very dangerous 3-win team as well. 25, the Patriots. Definitely drop you guys a bit after your recent losses, but I think you guys still deserve to be slightly higher than a lot of 3-win teams. 26, the Browns, dropping you guys a little bit. Winston just appears very 50-50. I don't feel like he's the future of this team. I'm more interested in how the defense looks these last couple of weeks down the stretch. 27, the Titans. Looks like the win streak is over. After losing to Jacksonville, the Titans are looking officially done for the season. 28, the Raiders. I'm finally dropping you guys a little bit. I know with 2 wins, I had you guys staying out of the bottom 5, but I think it might be time now to start talking about you being a bottom 5 team. But maybe you can actually win the tank and get the number 1 pick. 29, the Falcons, continuing to keep you guys down. The Falcons have looked terrible these last few games. 30, the Jaguars, bumping you guys out of last place because you got the win. 31, the Giants, keeping you guys down. And to be realistic, I think the Giants deserve the bottom seed. But this week I'm giving it to Chicago because how they looked against the 49ers was abysmal. And despite the 4 wins, the way they're playing right now, I think Chicago deserves to be in talks of being the worst team if they don't pick it up these last couple of seasons. They probably won't win the number 1 seed with 4 wins, but who knows what the Raiders or the Giants will do. So let's talk about the Week 15 games coming up. First, we got the Rams versus 49ers. I'm going to pick the 49ers. I think it's going to be close with both teams, though. And I think the winner of this one will be in talks of beating the Seahawks for the division, and the loser will be on the outside looking in. The Niners do have a lot of injuries, but the Rams' defense is questionable. Cowboys-Panthers, I'm going to pick the upset. I'm picking the Panthers. They look desperate for a win, and the Cowboys, I don't know. I feel like their season just might be officially over. Chiefs and Browns. I'm picking the Browns just because I want to see it happen, but I know it's probably not gonna. But I'm picking it anyway. Dolphins Texans. I'm going with the Dolphins. The Texans have been on the decline, and the Dolphins are looking hungry for a postseason. Jets and Jags. I'm going with the Jaguars. The Jets look like they're just kind of defeated, but I wouldn't be shocked if Aaron Rodgers pulls it off. A lot of tank bowl games this week. Commanders Saints, I'm picking the Saints just because flukes, I guess. The Commanders have been questionable of late, and the Saints have just been pulling off weird wins despite not being too good. Ravens Giants, I'm going to pick the Giants as well. I want to pick the upsets this week. The Ravens and the Commanders just haven't impressed me lately. Bengals Titans, I'm picking the Bengals. I think the Titans are done, and the Bengals are just holding on to whatever they can to make a postseason run. Patriots Cardinals, I am picking the Patriots. I think the Cardinals seem like they need to figure stuff out, and the Patriots look like they have figured things out, and they're just looking for more wins at this point. Colts Broncos, the Horse Bowl. I'm going to pick the Colts. I think that the Colts are desperate to make it in, and I like what we've seen of Anthony Richardson. There's a reason I have him as my 4th best team. But if the Broncos pull it off, then I'll probably have to start giving up on the Colts. To be fair, I do have the Broncos right there as the 3rd best team, so I'm quite curious. This might be the game of the week, in my opinion. Bills and Lions, I'm going to pick the Lions. I think that the Lions are desperately trying to hold on to that number 1 seed with the Eagles right there. And after losing to the Rams, I think the Bills are recognizing that they're no longer going to beat the Chiefs for the number 1 seed, sadly. Bucks and it's also in Detroit. I think that'll help. But the defense of both teams is what to watch for, because the Bills' defense didn't show up against the Rams, and the Lions' defense is very injured. So I'd be curious to see what the defenses do in that game. Bucks-Chargers, I'm picking the Chargers on this one. I do think the Bucks will win their division and go on a winning streak after this. I think this will be one of the few losses for the Bucks down the stretch, especially losing to the Chiefs. I think the Chargers are going to be hungry to keep up with the Broncos now, especially if they do win against the Colts. Steelers-Eagles, I'm going to pick the Steelers to finally end the Eagles' win streak. The Eagles have been barely winning, and the Steelers look really good right now. And I think they're fighting for the number 2 seed against the Bills. Packers-Seahawks, I really don't know. I'm rooting for my Seahawks, but I think with how the Packers are looking, that they're going to win this game, and just keep the fight for the West real tight with the Seahawks and the Rams and Niners. Bears-Vikings, I'm picking the Vikings. I think the Bears are just kind of done this season, and the Vikings, despite having a good record, I haven't been very high on them up until this point. Hopefully you can still hear me over the rain coming down. Last game, though, Falcons and Raiders. Ah, man, I don't know. I want to pick the Raiders. I think they're going to ruin their tank opportunities and get a win. The Falcons just look dead in the water right now, and I'll be quite curious to see what happens to Cousins if they do lose this game, but why not? I'll pick the Raiders to finally get their 3rd win here. So let's see what happens this time.